The living room went silent the moment my mother said it. Smiling sweetly, holding a glittering red gift bag, she announced, "These are for the grandkids who were born to rule." I felt my stomach drop. My children were sitting right there on the carpet, hands folded, eyes bright with Christmas hope. Yet every single gift was passed right over them. Christmas Eve had always been complicated in my family, but that night changed everything. Growing up, my parents were obsessed with legacy. Who would carry the name, who would be successful, who would make the family look good. When my older brother had kids, blonde, loud, confident kids, they were immediately crowned as the future of the family. When I had my children, quieter and more thoughtful, my parents smiled politely and moved on. Still, I believed Christmas would be different. I told myself holidays soften people. We arrived at my parents' house just before sunset. The tree was massive, perfectly decorated, and underneath it were mountains of gifts. My kids whispered excitedly, counting boxes, pointing at shiny ribbons. I noticed something strange immediately. None of the tags had my children's names on them. I brushed it off. Maybe they were saved for later. Dinner was tense but civil. My parents praised my brother's kids nonstop. How smart they were, how athletic, how natural leaders. My daughter tried to show my mom a drawing she'd made, but Mom barely glanced at it. My son asked Grandpa a question about his job, and Grandpa waved him off. Then came the moment of gift-giving. My mother stood up like she was hosting a ceremony. She handed gift after gift to my brother's children, laughing loudly, taking photos, praising them as if they were royalty. New tablets, designer clothes, a small envelope with what I later learned was a vacation voucher. My kids watched quietly. When my daughter finally asked very softly, "Grandma, are there any gift for us?" My mother chuckled and said the words I will never forget. "Oh, sweetheart, these are for the grandkids who were born to rule." Born to rule. My kids froze. My son looked down at his hands. My daughter's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away, trying to be brave. I stood up immediately. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking, but I said nothing. Not yet. We left shortly after. No scene, no shouting, just silence. That night, after putting my kids to bed, I sat alone and cried, not because of the gifts, but because I realized something painful and freeing at the same time. My parents were never going to change. What they didn't know was that I had changed. For years, I had quietly rebuilt my life. After being labeled the disappointment, I stopped chasing their approval. I worked, saved, invested, and built a business they never bothered to ask about. I protected my kids from their negativity as much as I could. But Christmas Eve showed me that distance wasn't enough. So I made a decision. The next morning, Christmas Day, I posted something simple online. A photo of my kids opening gifts at home, books, art supplies, a small telescope, nothing flashy but chosen with love. I wrote, "Teaching my children that worth isn't measured by favoritism or money. Merry Christmas." I didn't tag anyone. The post went viral. Friends, relatives, even people I barely knew commented. Some shared their own stories of being the forgotten child or raising kids in families full of favoritism. Messages poured in, thanking me for standing up silently but firmly. 2 days later, my parents called. They were furious. They accused me of embarrassing them, of twisting the story. My mother cried and said I was dramatic. My father said I should be grateful for what I was given growing up. That's when I finally spoke. Calmly, clearly, I told them, "You don't get to decide which children matter, and you don't get access to mine anymore." I cut off visits, holidays, financial favors, everything. Months passed. Then something unexpected happened. My brother called me, not angry, not defensive, quiet. He told me his kids had started asking why Grandma and Grandpa always compared them to others. Why being born to rule meant other people felt smaller. He admitted he'd never seen it clearly before. Meanwhile, my kids changed too. They grew more confident, more open. My daughter started selling her artwork online. My son joined a science club and won a local competition. They stopped asking why Grandma didn't love them the same way, because they finally knew it wasn't their fault. Last Christmas, We didn't go to my parents' house. We went on a small trip instead. Just us. No rankings. No crowns. No rulers. That night, as we sat together watching snow fall outside the window, my daughter looked at me and said, "Mom, I think we're lucky." She was right. Some kids aren't born to rule. They're born to rise, once they're free from the people who tried to keep them small.